A shocking revelation that has left fans, pastors, and fellow musicians in disbelief. The Christian music community throughout the world is in disarray. The 56-year-old gospel icon and powerful performer Guy Penrod has apparently been given a terminal stage 4 pancreatic cancer diagnosis. 11 days prior to Penrod's planned global tour, which was supposed to be the pinnacle of his illustrious career, the news was tragically announced. The collapse that turned everything around. A typical nighttime soundcheck at a Nashville venue swiftly turned into a nightmare. Penrod was in the middle of a soaring chorus when he abruptly became pale, gripping the microphone stand before dropping to the stage, according to witnesses who describe a heartbreaking moment. Emergency personnel and crew members raced to his aid. After being sent to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, a series of tests showed the unimaginable. According to reports, Penrod is fighting severe pancreatic cancer, which has already spread to his spine, liver, and lungs. Those present claim that Guy's response was one of miraculous tranquility, despite the seriousness of the diagnosis. He didn't yell or demand explanations. Rather, he just gave his family a small, sorrowful smile and bowed his head in silent prayer. An absolute faith decision, Guy Penrod reportedly signed a do not resuscitate DNR order almost instantly, shocking both fans and medical experts. He included a little handwritten doodle of a cross and a heart next to his signature. Most astonishingly, Penrod is said to have rejected all harsh therapies, including as radiation and chemotherapy. His inner circle says that instead of giving up, he is opting to spend the rest of his life with his creator rather than in a hospital ward. The vanishing into the Tennessee hills. Guy Penrod did what few celebrities would do. He disappeared while management hurriedly tried to cancel tour dates in South America, Europe, and Asia. He left Nashville in the middle of the night without a press statement or a televised farewell. He withdrew to his remote farmhouse close to Franklin, Tennessee, which he had long referred to as his quiet corner with God. He has strictly enforced a no visitors policy since his arrival. As Penrod seeks complete seclusion with his family and his faith, he has even turned away close friends and old musical collaborators. Recently, a neighbor posted a picture of a note that was affixed to the property's studio door. It said, "Tell everyone that I didn't give up. With the worship still mounting, I simply burned out. I want to walk outside and sing in the moonlight if this is the end. Love forever, Guy." I'm not done yet. Turn up the mic. When Penrod was first assessed, a medical professional called the situation unimaginably painful. Although stage 4 cancer has a terrible physical toll, the doctor observed that Penrod's spirit appeared unaffected by the suffering. The doctor said, he is already facing liver failure. The anguish would render most people incapable. Turn the mic up. I'm not done praising yet, he continues to murmur. The human spirit is miraculous. The final recording, a testimony in music. According to people close to the Penrod family, Guy is spending his last days writing farewell letters to his wife, Angie, and his kids, praying, and, above all, recording. According to reports, he is composing what he refers to as his final hymn. After hearing a rough demo, a producer called the song a declaration of victory, as opposed to a funeral dirge. As a farewell tribute to a world in need of optimism, Penrod has asked that the song only be made public after his death. A candlelight vigil of Honor Guy's admirers have brought the music to him while he is still in isolation. Every night, hundreds of people have come for vigils at the perimeter of his Tennessee property. They are there to sing, not to protest or peek. Because he lives and how great is our God reverberate through the hills. One devotee with a candle remarked, "His voice was the soundtrack to my healing. Our purpose is to ensure that he hears our voices as he gets ready for his. Beyond the voice, a legacy." The Gaither vocal band and the Southern gospel community have benefited greatly from Guy Penrod's influence. However, his legacy is changing from the songs he performed to the manner in which he is departing, as he stands in the shadow of the finish line. Penrod is living out the identical religion he taught for 30 years, whether he had days or weeks left. The recording light is probably still on somewhere in that peaceful Tennessee farmhouse, catching the last fading notes of a man who taught us that the music doesn't finish when the voice fails. It just changes keys. A deep and sacred silence has descended upon Guy Penrod's house, as the sun sets over Franklin, Tennessee's undulating hills. The stillness is both light with the elegance of a man who has at last achieved serenity and heavy with the weight of 1,000 anthems. Guy's voice was more than simply a musical instrument for more than 30 years. It was a haven. Millions of individuals sought solace there as their own worlds were collapsing. That sanctuary has now shifted from the dazzling lights of the performance stage to the peaceful, candlelit hallways of a farmhouse, where a legend is getting ready for his last bow, as word of his terminal stage 4 diagnosis spreads over the world. The man who turned into the message. It is necessary to look past the awards and Grammy nominations in order to comprehend why this news has rocked the Christian music industry. Guy Penrod wore his beliefs in addition to singing about it. In a field that is frequently fixated on image, Guy embodied a unique type of genuineness from his early days, with the Gaither vocal band to his thriving solo career. He was the voice of the everyman believer with his distinctive, booming baritone, rough salt-of-the-earth demeanor, and characteristic silver hair. He was a minister, not just a performer. You felt the conviction of a man who believed every word he said as he sang, not simply a song. Perhaps his current struggle is particularly heartbreaking because of this very sincerity. Guy Penrod is staying steadfast, leaning into the good Father, and believing that the shadow of death is really the forerunner to an eternal light, exactly what he taught us to do via his music in a world that hides from suffering and dread death. A decision determined by trust fans have been debating Guy's decision to sign a DNR order and refuse intensive treatment. For those who have followed his walk with God, it is unquestionably a win, even though others refer to it as a surrender. Perhaps Guy's biggest lesson is his choice to live out his remaining days on his porch with his family at his side and a guitar in his hands. It is an admission that his life was never truly his own. He is reminding us that our last days are about making the time we have left precious, rather than battling for more time by opting for a quiet departure over a sterile hospital room. On those medical records, his legal signature is accompanied with a tiny doodle of a cross and a heart that conveys a unique tale. It indicates that his basic identity does not change despite the agonizing pain of cancer and liver failure. He is a cherished and redeemed child of God. He is graduating into a higher calling rather than leaving behind a career. The Final Hymn Mysteries. The accounts of his last recording sessions are eerily lovely. The studio has always been a site of creativity for an artist of Guy's caliber. However, it is now a place of legacy. The ultimate gift to a community that has loved him for years is said to be the final hymn he is recording, whispering the lyrics when his strength fails him. Guy is making sure that his last message to the world is about the God he served, rather than himself, by asking for this song to be released only after his death. It is an act of adoration that is selfless. It guarantees that the triumph of his spirit will take precedence over the sadness of his illness when we eventually hear those sounds. It will be the sound of a guy who burned out with the worship still rising, as he so eloquently described it on his studio door. The World Vigil, an obligation of appreciation. Fans' candlelight vigils outside his property are evidence of the lives he impacted. They are a spiritual family, not simply fans. There are people in those crowds who have performed Guy's music on the quietest, saddest evenings of their life, in hospital waiting rooms, and at their own loved ones' funerals. They are there because Guy Penrod's words served as a bridge to assist them get over their own hopeless valleys. For a man who dedicated his life to loving the world through his work, the hymns of Because He Lives and Holy Forever waft through the Tennessee night like a musical hug. A community's opportunity to sing back to the person who gave them their song is a unique time in history. It's a lovely, painful, and sacred exchange. The last breath is a legacy. Even if Guy Penrod doesn't speak tomorrow, his legacy will go on for many generations. He showed us that worship is something you are, not something you perform on a stage. He taught us that being brave means having faith rather than being fearless. His quick deterioration serves as a depressing reminder of our own death, but his attitude to it serves as a model for leading a dignified life. The hard parts of the human experience are edited out of our culture. We don't want the agony, but we do want the miracle. Guy's story serves as a reminder that sometimes the soul's resiliency, rather than physical healing, is the miracle. The most potent waymaker moment we have ever seen is when he continues to whisper, "Turn the mic up. despite his body failing him. A concluding remark from Star Pass. We at Star Pass would like to leave you with one final reflection as we wrap up this chapter on Guy Penrod's life and current adventure. Guy's life was characterized by the Amen. He sang Amen to God's goodness in every song. And now, facing the last horizon, he is uttering his most challenging and exquisite Amen to date. The number of days remaining in this narrative is unknown. However, we are aware of how the tale concludes. It concludes in a place where quiet, cancer, and suffering are all gone. Guy Penrod is only preparing his voice for an endless chorus, not losing it. We therefore ask that you do what Guy would want you to do tonight. Don't merely lament, don't just cry. Sing. Sing the tunes he taught you. Keep the hope he gave you, and keep in mind that as long as worship continues to rise, music will never totally perish. Thank you, Guy. If you are able to hear the prayers of the millions of people you have impacted, I appreciate the melody. I appreciate the truth, and we appreciate you teaching us how to grin while navigating the shadows.